Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Broadcasting from the Gregory Ricks & Associates Wealth Management Studios, here's D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D. Squared. All right, let me lay out the show for you real quick. We're going to be doing 2 segments of Top Nerd News tonight. No guest on the docket. We got our boy Skungy with his pick of the week. After that, of course, we'll wrap it all up with This Week in Geek History. But let's bring on my boy Skungy. Skungy, hey, what's shaking, bacon?
What is going on, sir? How you doing this week?
I am super. Thanks for asking. All right, dude, let's jump right into it. And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, Skungy, topping us off tonight. There's a lot of stuff that we have to go through on Top Nerd News, but one of the things I really wanted to bring up was that we're starting to see more TV shows coming. We're starting to get some more information as to what some of the seasons will look like or the rest of the fall schedules, etc. And the CW released their new primetime schedule for 2021, but more importantly, their fourth quarter 2020 primetime schedule. A couple of things that started off. I know you'll like this. Penn and Teller. You know, you're one of those weirdos who does magic tricks and just really, you're awkward.
Not very well, but
yeah. You're that awkward guy at a party. I know. It's all good.
Yes, I am.
So they're bringing Swamp Thing in from the DC universe that had one season, and they announced that they were canceling it once they put it on their streaming platform of DC Universe. But I don't know, CW just seems to be the stopping point for pretty much any superhero show. I mean, I like it. I like it, though.
I do. CW has always been like this. They actually started this trend years ago with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was canceled after the 5th season, and then the 6th and 7th season went to the CW, and they've done this the entire time. I mean, let's be honest, CW's television shows, at least in the DC universe, in my opinion, are fantastic. They're far superior than the movies. I mean, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow are just so good.
Look, when CW started doing the Flash, I was hooked right then and there. And then they started adding DC's Legends of Tomorrow and all the other characters like Black Lightning. Then they added Supergirl that they picked up from CBS or ABC. I don't know, one of the 3-letter networks.
I think it was CBS.
Yeah, so they brought Supergirl over. Then you got Batwoman. And so they've been doing the whole superhero thing for a long time. But here's the most important thing that all I really care about is that Thursday nights from 8 to 9, Supernatural will be back. They have 2 episodes left to film. They've got 7 episodes left. So everything's in post-production right now. They still have to finish 2 more episodes, the season finale and all that. So the COVID could not stop it. And it's still coming. Yeah, right. The series finale ended in 15 seasons. The Wayward Sons are finally just going to stop carrying on. So, they
really have. And this also gives an interesting obstacle for a lot of these shows. They've decided, watching The Flash and Batwoman this season, they've shortened their seasons. Instead of trying to wait for them to come back and film those episodes, they've decided to just end the season right there, and they're going to add those other episodes on the back end next season.
Like with Supergirl, they're not canceling, but I mean they push that stuff back because Melissa Benoist is pregnant, so that's just a sidebar thing for that. But it's weird because Batwoman and Supergirl's numbers have kind of been tanking, so they're trying to refurbish those series right now. So I think a break might actually sort of do them some good. So for all our Supernatural fans and people who don't know, I love Supernatural. I named my second kid Dean because I ain't no Sam fanboy. But it brings me to the next show that they're going to be adding in their next year's lineup, and it's called Walker, and it's
reboots. Reboots?
Reboots.
Talk to me about reboots.
They're rebooting Walker, Texas Ranger. How the hell are you going to put Sam in there to fill the shoes? Fill the boots of one Chuck freaking Norris? I love Sam, but come on, man, that's nuts.
I can't see it because every character that he plays is just this very sheepish character.
He's just sensitive. He's too sensitive. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's going to try to be a badass in this, but I'd have casted Dean. There's no way, man. Putting Jared Padalecki in there instead of my man Dean. That's just nuts. But hey, look, I guess for all the Sam fanboys and fangirls out there, I guess they'll be happy. But a Walker Texas Ranger reimagining. They didn't want to use the word reboot, so it's a reimagining. But the other thing that's on the docket for CW is Kung Fu. Kung Fu has now been rebooted, and they're going to use they've gender bent it, so now it's going to be a female, but at least they actually cast a character of Asian descent, so we don't have to worry about some white guy who was apparently a Kung Fu martial artist guy in the Wild
David
West.
Carradine was not believable.
I swear, they should have had. Why they didn't use Bruce Lee is beyond. Man, Bruce Lee would have been epic in that. But hey, Hollywood was racist, so
Yeah.
Maybe they've gotten better. So CW's moving on with new Kung Fu. I don't know. I'll give it a shot. The CW's got a lot of interesting programming, so I'm kind of fine with that.
Yeah, that's to say the least. There's some very, very weird shows on CW.
Well, you know what? Look, I wanted to jump over to DC from that, but this is the perfect dovetail. The Peacock, NBC's new streaming service, they've unveiled their launch date and their launch programming, July 15th. And just how I was complimenting the CW, the NBC looks to be a giant turd. I don't even know where to start. You've got Cleopatra in space.
Say that again. You need to repeat that title.
Cleopatra in space.
I don't understand.
So it's based on a graphic novel by Mike Mayhack. The animated series follows a teenage Cleopatra as she's transported 30,000 years into the future to an Egyptian-themed planet ruled by talking cats and discovers she is the prophesied savior of that future world.
Oh, oh my God.
So, all right, but here's the deal. That might be promising because when you look at the rest of the stuff, though, they've got Brave New World, which is based on the Huxley novel from 1932. That one,
Curious George.
Yeah, Curious George. Then the Capture, some soldier who is, accused of something, but then is, cleared of said charges, but then gets brought up on some other charges. Yay, okay. And then David Schwimmer is going to be some, I don't know, it's like Get Smart. Yeah, right, yeah. Schwimmer, when the hell was he relevant last? And then In Deep with Ryan Lochte, the 2016 Olympic swimmer. Lost Speedways with Dale Earnhardt Jr. I guess that'd be good for somebody who likes, racing, but...
Going in a circle?
Yeah, so the only thing that looks even remotely appealing is a movie, and that's Psych 2, Lassie Come Home, based on the USA series, Psych.
Yeah, you've got that. The only thing that I think this service actually has going for it is some of its older shows. It's got Parks and Rec on it, and I'm guessing that it's going to move from Netflix
30 Rock, yeah, right.
30 Rock, and then Battlestar. That's
Star Kabakala.
But if you watch Battlestar, you kind of know what happens. So
right. Well, so and here's the deal. So if you wanna add another streaming service to your already mounting bills of streaming services, $5 a month with ads, and double the amount of content, or ad free with double the amount of content for $10 a month. So you get.
But they do have a free tier.
They have a free tier. Yeah. Does that just have like I don't know.
Well,
Cleopatra dating furries? I don't know. Is that what's
we don't know
happen?
exactly what it says, but that's the thing. If you pay for that $5, you get double the content from the free tier, so that's how it works. And then the $10 is you have no ads and all the content.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
But does it have a strong enough library to hold up for that when you have Disney Plus for $7? Or Netflix that has a million things.
And then you got Amazon, who the only reason I let that slip is because I forgot my credit card had dated out, and then I went to go order something on Amazon Prime. I'm like, what the hell? So, but again, you got all these streaming services. Peacock is coming way late to the game, and they're coming with some weak offerings. So I feel kind of bad with them. All right, moving on. Before we wrap up this segment, if you recall, and I'm talking to the audience right now, I guess about 2 months ago, we had a story about DC was planning to restart putting out comic books again, and they were shooting for a May date. And 2 months ago, we're all like, the world is ending. COVID-19 is everywhere. We'll all be locked, huddled in our basements, drinking our own urine or something. I don't know. It didn't turn out that way, thank Jesus. But here we are. And when I thought back to that, I'm like, how the hell can DC make these sort of promises to all the comic book retailers, the fans, that they're suddenly going to magically create comic books when the number one publisher, Diamond Publishing, said, sorry, pal, we're not doing that. Well, it came out the day before, 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, on the 14th. Steve Geppi, who is the CEO for Diamond Distributors, apparently, and this is what I found interesting. A year and a half ago, DC and Diamond sat down and they redid their contract. They redid their contract to give DC a 60-day out of their contract where they could get other distributors to distribute all of their titles. I don't think at that point, Diamond was like, okay, well, look, we've got an exclusive deal with you guys, a 60-day heads up. They've been working together for decades. So it's like, you know what? That's fine. If that's what keeps you happy and in the fold and we are all making money, okay. So that was a year and a half ago. Then you fast forward to April of this year, and DC comes out with this proclamation. Everybody scratches their head. They're like, how can you promise these titles when you ain't got a printing press, pal? Well, it turns out that 60-day clause, as soon as the pandemic hit and Diamond said that they were going to shut down, they enacted their clause right then and there. So when they gave out that date wasn't some date they pulled out of their butt. They pulled it out to say, we are going to break contract with Diamond. And so they brought in two other firms. Let's see.
Lunar and UCS.
Yeah, there you go. Good job. So, look, and now they've got an opportunity here to kind of get first in the market, get their comic books out to people's hands. And frankly, I think people are itching and twitching to get, some recycled tree in their hands right now. And if it's new,
to get that actual comic book in your hand where you can smell the ink and just tangible, something tangible.
Right. The digital downloads, while they are fun and it does save you a crap ton of money if you want to, go in the catalog and refresh your memory on certain characters or backstories and things like that. That's all well and good. But if you're a collector or somebody who's an avid reader who, wants to keep that going on, when DC said this, I called them a bunch of idiots. I'm like, there's no way that you're going to magically start producing comic books when at the time you had a 25-year exclusive agreement with Diamond. But little did we know, and now it all came out that I guess DC, I don't know. Maybe they had some foresight. Maybe Dr. Fauci was slipping them notes. I'm not sure. But DC must have known something a year and a half ago. Maybe they're in cahoots with the Chinese. I really don't know. But somehow,
I don't know. I think it was mainly just, the market is changing so much, and to be stuck with only one distributor, you do limit yourself on what you can do and who can get your comics. So maybe they were just trying to look to the future, because really, their film division ain't doing well, so they're kind of relying on the comics right now.
Ain't that the truth? All right, when we come back, hey, you remember this song, Skungy? Don't even bother asking. I'm gonna fire you after tonight's show. Jesus. When we come back, if you can figure out this theme song, good on you. But we're going to be talking about Disney Plus and, well, I'll give it away, Gargoyles. When we come back, this is The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. We'll be right back.
Fox on Tech.
As more states reopen for business, there's a lot of talk about contact tracing to ensure people possibly exposed to COVID-19 are alerted as quickly as possible. Many countries have turned to smartphone apps for an assist. Apple and Google even announced a partnership to unlock features deep in their operating systems to allow anonymous contact tracing. But to be effective, both companies admitted at least 50% of the population would need to use some kind of app. Iceland launched a government-backed tracing app in April, and so far, it has been downloaded by 38% of the country. The voluntary app tracks a user's GPS data, saved locally on the phone, and if a user tests positive, they can share the data with a contact tracing team, saving critical steps. But a detective with the contact tracing team says the impact of the app is small compared to manual methods like phone calls, though still helpful. China's COVID tracker is involuntary, and it's unclear exactly how it works, though China claims it's been successful. With Fox on Tech, Brett Larson, Fox News.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed every day to help save the lives of cancer patients, accident victims, and so many others who depend on life-saving transfusions. It's easy and safe to give blood. If you are in good health, please make an appointment to donate blood or platelets in the weeks ahead by visiting redcrossblood.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. You can make a difference.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
This is Kate Mulgrew for The Week in Geek. Just kidding. It's Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, the Major from Ghost in the Shell. Listen, or the Tachikomas are going to get you.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Before we went to break and I had to fire Skungy, a little song we played going out was the Gargoyles theme song. Now, maybe this will help you, Skungy, if make you maybe remember it.
No, I couldn't hear it. I got it. I remember it.
Sure you did.
1,000 years ago, superstition and the sword ruled. It was a time of darkness. It was a world of fear. It was the age of gargoyles. Stone by day, warriors by night. We were betrayed by the humans we had sworn to protect, frozen in stone by a magic spell for 1,000 years. Now here in Manhattan, the spell is broken, and we live again. Defenders of the night. We are gargoyles.
best damn cartoon ever. I don't care what anybody says. That was the best damn
Absolutely
cartoon ever.
agree.
And we got robbed. We got robbed because technically we had 2 seasons during the old days, the little Disney cartoon block, you know, when we're all
Disney
getting off of
afternoon
school.
block.
Yeah, it was like 3 to 5. Those were the good old days. You get out of school, you know, you go home and you watch cartoons for 2 hours because the other option was wait till Saturday morning because back then there wasn't cable. You kids and your streaming services have no idea what we had to put up with. So Gargoyles, after 2 seasons, it sort of got canceled because they moved it over to some like CBS. They called it Gargoyles: The Goliath Chronicles, and it was really just lame. It was like they dumbed it down and made it more cartoony. And the best part about Gargoyles was that it had character development. It had deep plot lines. It had like the Illuminati, for God's sake.
It was like they had a whole story arc about Lord and Lady Macbeth.
Right.
Like for a kid's show, you're learning about Macbeth. You're learning about Shakespeare in this show. And that's actually where I started really liking Shakespeare, was because of Gargoyles.
Get out. No way.
No, I'm serious, man. I really, it like just sparked an interest in it. I'm like, you know what? I really need to just go and put my nose into some of these books and these plays, and I love those things now, and it was because of Gargoyles.
Well, and they had such a great voice acting cast with Keith David, and then you had Mina Sirtis, who was Demona, and they had a lot of Star Trek Next Gen because
Jonathan Frakes was Xanatos.
Xanatos, right? And I forgot who Data played. Brent Spiner played. I forgot who it was, but I mean...
Loki. What? No, it wasn't Loki.
No, Puck. Puck. That was his name, Puck. So, yeah, I mean, you had all these Star Trek alum in there, and this is all pre-Star Trek, too. But, you know, it was funny. When as soon as I remembered Keith David, all I could think about was this.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
They live.
Best movie fight ever.
5 minutes, 5-minute fight scene about who's going to put on sunglasses.
Good glasses.
Good times.
It's the best thing. But that show was so good. And, yeah, which brings up this point that you wanted to make about what's going on.
Well, so Greg Weisman, he was the co-creator, and he did an interview on Polygon, and apparently, like, they got in the weeds with a lot of this stuff, and he wants to bring back Gargoyles. Now, here's the thing. God, I love this man because he doesn't want to do it as a reboot. He wants to do it as a continuation, but... to make it even better, Skungy, he wants to pick it up after season 2 and completely ignore season 3 because season 3 they fired all the writers.
Man.
Yeah, they fired all the writers, and so it was a completely different crew. I mean, you know, it was just it was a dumb third season, and they're all pretending it didn't happen, kind of like sometimes we want to pretend the prequels and midichlorians didn't happen. So
absolutely
duly understand where he's at. But here's what he said about Disney's thoughts on it, that they would want to reboot it just as they've done with DuckTales, and to great success and great effect, as he said, and that's not my first choice. I'm not saying I'd refuse, but I'm really proud of the work we did, and I don't think it needs a reboot. And I think he is spot on. I think a lot of us, while, you know, a lot of times people make money off of our love of the throwbacks and our childhood, I think a continuation would probably be the best way to go, because I think this is something that people... all the series that get canceled, like Fox has this graveyard of great TV shows that have been canceled after 1 or 2 seasons, like Space Above and Beyond. I still don't know what happened after that. They're all left floating in space after fighting the Chigs, and it's just crazy. They're probably dead by now. Who knows? But sorry, I digress. Now, I would rather see them pick up from there and not reboot it. But if they did do a reboot, I mean, honestly, I guess, you know, Frakes and Keith David and a lot of those, you know, people, maybe they could come back as voice actors, but when you get a little bit older, you don't have that oomph in the voice as they did when they were younger people.
Well, Keith David has still been doing, I mean, he's been doing voice work
his
entire career, and he's still doing voice work for this day.
No, he's got a great voice. He should do it.
Jonathan Frakes, I mean, he's actually moved more to the behind the camera. He's been more of a director in his later part of his career. So, I mean, but I think he smokes a lot
of weed, dude, because I was watching him at Picard again, and he's always he's got this dumb smile on his face. Even when he's trying to be serious, he's got a dumb smile on his face. It's like,
I want somebody to look at me like Riker looks at a chair backwards.
God. And there we go. All right, moving on from that now. But here's the thing. Do you know why Gargoyles died and lost 2 seasons? Do you know why?
Tell me a story.
I'm going to tell you a story. Just sit right back and I'll tell you a tale about how O.J. Simpson murdered Gargoyles. O.J. Simpson was not happy murdering his wife and the other dude. He decided to murder Gargoyles. And here's what happened. He and the Power Rangers, they colluded. The Power Rangers, the Green Ranger. Look, I'm telling you, they colluded. Green Ranger, Jason David Frank. All right, okay, now I'm going too far with the story. Sorry, JD. But O.J. Simpson killed Gargoyles. You want to know why? World?
Please tell me. I need to know this.
So apparently, if you think back, we're talking about the little talk block, or the 3 to 5 Disney afternoon block. What happened when O.J. Simpson went to trial? Do you recall?
Nothing was on the TV
except
but that.
That's all you saw was just the constant trial of one O.J. Simpson. And then the cast of characters from that. Kato Kalin, the pool boy who now makes his money off of Comic-Con. So what happened was, and this is Weissman's words, was that the O.J. Simpson trial meant we were constantly being preempted for trial coverage because we were on syndicated stations, and syndicated stations still primarily lived off local news in the 90s. Every day it ran, we were being preempted. And in any given city, people were missing episodes of Gargoyles and falling out of the habit of watching them. And then, if that weren't enough, Jason David Frank and the rest of those stupid color-coded Power Rangers, all right, I'm ad-libbing now, in essence, he said they weren't a failure. It was just that the Power Rangers were still on, and they stole Gargoyles' shares. They stole their shares because they were not being preempted, and they tumbled from number 1 to number 2 in the second season. And then after that, they moved them over to 3, fired all the writers with season 3, moved them to ABC. So O.J. Simpson was not happy just murdering real people. He had to go murder my cartoon Gargoyles, and I will never forgive him for that. I know, it's sad. But hey, you know what? The juice did it. But there is a silver lining to this. Also, in that Polygon interview with Weissman, he talked about the rebooting of those, not the rebooting, the reimagining and or rebooting. He wants to be involved in it. He wants to pick it up from season 2. But he would also be willing to do a live action movie because that is all the ignorant rage with Disney to remake all of these beloved cartoons into talking dogs like Lady and the Tramp. Like, that's just so dumb. All right, but I digress.
But I
did love Beauty and the Beast. I did love Beauty and the Beast. Sorry. But here's the thing. He wants to team up with Jordan Peele, who, in my mind, this dude, he is a living legend in my mind. I mean, he has done some amazing work with The Twilight Zone and the movies that he's done. It's just,
I haven't seen Us, but I saw Get Out, and that was just amazing.
Get Out really just messed with my head. There's occasional times that if I see a jogger, I'm waiting for them to just turn and start jogging straight at me. That's what he's done to me. But he's willing, or apparently Jordan Peele just showed some interest to Disney that he was willing to maybe do that. Let's see, what was his direct quote? My understanding is not inside information, just my understanding is that he expressed an interest in the property and Disney didn't say no. But by not saying yes, that answers the question. They didn't want to say no to Jordan Peele, but they also didn't want to say yes to Gargoyles, so it just didn't go anywhere. But this is another thing I found interesting, though, Skungy, that in 2010, and I thank God that this didn't happen in 2010, because the X-Men producer, Lauren Schuler Donner wanted to use the success of Pirates of the Caribbean to kickstart a Gargoyles franchise. I don't want anybody who touched X-Men to be touching my Gargoyles. That's all I got to say.
I completely agree on that, man. That is just, it is really, it's a cult show. I mean, I hate to say that it is a cult show, but it really is but with the debut of Disney Plus, hopefully people who were not able to see Gargoyles when they were younger, or if they were too young for it at the time, they can, now discover the show, and people who are older can rediscover the show, and hopefully we can get that buzz so this show can continue.
Well, look, I got a 7-year-old, Dean, and he and I have been watching Gummy Bears because Gummy Bears is just awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Are they
bouncing here and there and everywhere?
High adventure that's beyond compare. They are the Gummy Bears. But he and I started watching Gargoyles, and he busted me for watching it without him. And he was
you cheated.
He was very upset with me. He goes, "Wait a minute, we were on episode 2." I'm like, "How did we get on 5?" I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe it just stayed up playing." He's like, "Did you watch it?" I'm like, "Oh, hey, look, let's go. Look in the kitchen." I had nothing to distract him with, so I was completely busted. All right, so hopefully Gargoyles will come back, and one other thing that I really want to have come back, and here's a hint for you, Skungy.
I would like you to accompany me to Taco Bell.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
So, what's with this cocktail guy anyway? He says I saved his life, which I'm not even sure I did, and my reward is dinner and dancing at Taco Bell. I mean, hey, I like Mexican food, but come on.
Your tone is quasi-facetious, but you do not realize that Taco Bell was the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars.
So?
Now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
Good things from the garden.
No.
Garden of the valley, valley of the jolly green giant.
Yes, hot dogs, Armor hot dogs. All right, sorry. Stop it. So,
I love that movie.
Demolition
so
Man.
Much.
Demolition Man, for anybody who did not catch that. So, here's the thing. Sylvester Stallone has been on Instagram, been answering a lot of questions, and he was asked specifically about Demo Man 2.
Can we get another Demo Man? I think there is coming. We're working on it right now with Warner Brothers, and it's looking fantastic. So that should come out. That's going to happen.
Yes!
Now, oh, my God. Enhance your calm.
I cannot enhance my calm right now. Here's the thing. What is it going to be? I mean, the whole reason I played the franchise war clips is because I want to see either maybe a prequel or some flashbacks to the franchise wars, or you base it on an upstart, another franchise that wants to take down the Taco Bell empire, maybe Popeyes, and they institute or introduce a new chicken sandwich, and then the chicken sandwich wars erupt, and then you just have mass hysteria, cats and dogs living together. It'd be wonderful. A new franchise wars 2, the battle for the belt. I think that would be awesome. Because I'm not sure what would you do with Devil Man 2? I want to see more about it, but I don't know. I want to see more, but I'm not sure if we're going to get anything on it. So, all right, Skungy, when we come back, we're going to do the pick of the week. This is The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Take a pause.
Elephants in Thailand are out of work because of the pandemic, with no tourists to entertain or carry. So commercial elephant camps and sanctuaries are running short on money to feed the creatures. Now their human handlers are walking over 100 of them to the elephants' homeland. The trip of about 95 miles will take the animals back to greener pastures, and some of the handlers say many elephants seem happy to head back. A little guy who's got plenty of work is Sawdust, the mini horse.
Good boy.
He's a therapy horse in Muskego, Wisconsin.
I thought, what better way to spread some cheer during this time than to do some window visits.
Sawdust visits nursing homes, but because of the pandemic, his owner, Alexa Billstrom, says he's only allowed to stick his horsey nose against a patient's window, sometimes without warning.
A lot of them were just like complete shock, as I'm sure like waking up from a nap seeing that, people probably thought they were still dreaming.
Take a pause. Jill Nato, Fox News.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Win a house and help support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Reserve your ticket for $100 by June 5th, and you'll be eligible to win the house valued at an estimated $700,000. And the early bird prize, a 2020 Honda Civic LX, courtesy of Superior Honda. Visit dreamhome.org or call 800-327-2559 to reserve your ticket now. That number again is 800-327-2559.
Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to The Week in Geek.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Now, as always, we want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twigradio and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Skungy, tell them how they can listen to the show.
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show, or if you want to hear your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and the iHeartRadio app, but there's one more place you can find us.
I don't know. We'll find out later.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
I love lamp.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
All right, Chucklebutt. What we got tonight?
So, I actually wanted to take this opportunity to talk about a couple of games that are not necessarily video games, but they are. That's weird to say.
Okay.
Now, anybody who knows me, I am video games 100%, but my second love and passion is board games.
I thought it was crochet. Okay, but board games sounds good.
Third.
Yep. All right.
I own over 500 board games. Do I get to play any of these? Absolutely not.
Yeah, we're adults. We don't get any time to do anything.
Exactly. But so I've done board game reviews in the past, and one of the ones I want to talk about just briefly is they had a board game came out a couple of years ago. It's a card game called the Dresden Files Card Game.
Uh-huh.
Based off of the Dresden Files books by Jim Butcher, who was on the show many years ago.
It's only a year and a half, like 2 years, whatever. Okay, continue.
No, it was a while.
Whatever.
This is a cooperative card game. Now, you could play up to 5 players, and it's solo. You can also play 1. So 1 to 5 players. The game really only takes like 30 minutes to play. And what you're doing is you pick a couple of character decks. And you have a couple of characters, and you're going against this book. It's a deck of cards that represent the events that happen in that book.
Okay.
And you have to either attack the enemies or solve the cases. So you will get attack points or clue points. And you do this by playing your cards. The thing is, you only have so many cards in your hand. And you really can't, once you use a card, that's it. It's gone. So you have these points, these fate points that you use to do spells or to play a card, basically.
All right.
Now you can discard a card to get more fate points, but then you can't use that card again. So it's a strategic game that you have to play. You can play it with your friends or you can play it by yourself. And this is probably one of the hardest games I've ever played solo.
How do you strategize against yourself?
Well, no, because you're playing against the deck, the cards.
Like, don't look at my hand.
Well, no, you have, when you play solo, you have 3 characters that you play in, and you can see all their cards. But you're playing against this deck of cards, and like I said, you had to discard cards to get fate points to play more cards. Okay. And you have a pool of fate points. It's like, it's not player 1, player 2, player 3 has their own fate points. No, you share the fate points.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
I would be the jerk that would burn them all just to mess with people.
Yeah, it sucks on that. So as you play through, eventually you have to do a showdown, and it depends on how many minions you've beaten and how many cases you've solved is how easy it is to do that showdown. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this game is twofold. Number one, I absolutely love the Dresden Files books. I've read them all except for the last short story anthology. I just haven't gotten to that one, but I've read all the other ones. I absolutely love that series. I kickstarted the board game, and it is a lot of fun, and it's stupid simple to play. Hard to beat, but it's you can teach it in 5 minutes, and you've got the rules, and that's it.
Okay.
And you can play solo. But recently, on the Nintendo Switch, a video game has popped up. What? The Dresden Files Card Game. So they made the game digital to play on your Switch.
Oh, okay. Like,
now,
when you first brought it up, like I was like, what, are they going to make it like an actual like a first person kind of shooter or something, or like an open world thing? But no, it's the card game, but on.
It's a card game on your Switch,
okay.
So you can play it multiplayer. You have you can do couch co-op, or you can do over the internet.
Oh.
Now the one caveat with this game is that I bought the base game, but I did the Kickstarter and I got all of it. So there were extra characters and extra books.
Okay.
Since the Dresden Files is like 16 books.
Yeah.
Not all of those are in the base. So yeah, I had to buy those separate, and some of the extra characters that showed up in the later books. Well, the same thing with the video game. The game itself is only $14.99, but to get everything, it's going to cost you like $40.
There's no loot boxes, right? No loot boxes?
No loot boxes. It's nothing random, but you just get those characters and those decks to play.
Okay.
Now, like I said, you could play it $14.99 and be fine, but eventually you're going to run through those same stories, and you would probably want to get more. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it brings up something really cool that's happening lately in the video game world.
And that is?
They're bringing more and more popular board games to the digital realm.
All right.
For instance,
I'm going to say explain like you would a
for
child.
Instance, one of the most popular games in the world that's been around for a while is a game called Ticket to Ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's about trains, like making train routes and everything. Well, you can get that digital on your Xbox One.
I never understood it, but okay.
Yeah, there's that. There's Carcassonne, which is a tile-laying game of area control. There's Catan, Settlers of Catan, which has been out for almost 20 years now.
I got the Star Trek version. I never played it once.
Yes. Oh, my God. That is such a fun game. But the original version is available to buy on the Xbox. It's available to buy on the Switch. And then newer games are starting to come out as well. There's Mystic Vale. Scythe is available digitally through Steam, which Scythe is one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life.
God,
I've actually reviewed it on the game.
Yeah, we had the guy who kickstarted it. The guy's like a millionaire because he's able to, he's like a kickstarting genius.
Jamie Stonemeyer.
It's that. Something like that.
Something like that.
Good enough for government work.
Scythe is one of the best games I've ever played, and you can get it digitally now.
No way.
Through Steam.
For how much?
So the really cool thing about this.
Okay, you keep talking. I'm going to Google.
Okay. The really cool thing about all of this whole situation is that some of these games, number one, they're either harder to find, like Side's not hard to find, but it is like an $80 board game.
Yeah.
And they have stuff like Zombie Side's available as well, which is like a $100 board game. But you can get these games through digital media, either through Steam or your phone apps.
$20
for what?
For Scythe on Steam.
Yeah, it's $20. It's a $20.
And it's like a $90 game.
It's a $90 game to buy it physically, or you could pay it $20 on Steam. And it's great because you can play it digitally, and a lot of these games you can't play by yourself. So it's easier if you could play them against the computer, and it makes a great experience. And for me, who I don't get to play board games a lot because they're a multiplayer thing, and I don't get to get together with people as much as I'd want to.
Right.
I can play these games that I've been dying to play on a digital medium.
So you know how old I'm such a fossil where like I have Risk on my Xbox because I love Risk. I love every version of Risk. I've pretty much owned every version of Risk that there is, and I just don't have time to play it, but I play it on the Xbox. You know, AI against the computers, and it's just like boom, bada bing, bada bang, and I get my Risk fix. But I mean, like even Hasbro, they had like a game night, which has got all the old games, but those aren't as fun. So what you're telling me now is now actually good games, fun games, newer games that you might want to play if you don't have the opportunity to play with your friends, especially right now with El Quarantino still sort of over, but I expect a reboot of the
reboot of it,
because people
there are a lot of these games that you can get either via like console gaming, like there's some of them on Xbox. The Switch has been really good on getting some really choice board games going to digital that haven't been on any other platform either. And then on your phone or tablet, like through the iTunes or the Google Play, there are dozens of strategy board games available to buy. And one of them being Talisman, which is also on the PlayStation 4 and the Switch.
What? It's not on Xbox?
Yeah, it's not on Xbox. It's not on Xbox yet. It's on the PlayStation 4 and it's on the Switch and it's on your phone or tablet, but it's not on the Xbox yet, which I love. Talisman. It's one of the most classic board games ever made.
I remember fondly there was a game shop here in New Orleans, like it was down by the Audubon Zoo somewhere. It was like the Uptown Village or whatever. It was like this weird mall that like had 3 stories. I don't know. I would go there and I just remember Talisman was like all the rage. And like you'd go to cons, and there'd be like 6 or 7 Talisman games going on, but everybody would be filled up. You'd have to wait for somebody to maybe show up with an extra Talisman game so you could play. But, you know, it's always been a great game. I still got a copy. But now, Skungy, look, there's a new version coming out, which actually I'm excited about. Star Wars is going to have their own version of Talisman come out where you race to get to the middle of the board to reach Emperor Palpatine, where you can confront the all-powerful Sith or stand by my side. Do it now.
I am so excited for it, but there's a caveat on that one.
What?
So
but?
It's made by OP.
Yeah, the NFLopoly people that make really crappy versions of Monopoly?
No, it's not that they're crappy. They made another Star Wars game called Dark Force Rising, which is a dice-throwing game that's in the Star Wars universe that's basically a reskin of Thanos Rising and Harry Potter Rising. The problem is there's a licensing issue.
What?
The game will not be available in the United States. You're going to have to order it overseas.
Well, so? What does that
mean?
You're going
to have to pay like $30 shipping.
So what? I know people down at the docks. I'm good.
$50 is going to cost you like $100.
Like every month I get a shipment from Colombia. It's all good. I can find something from UK. All right? Is that what you're complaining about? That we got to go talk to some people and like grease a few palms to get this game?
Well,
is that what you're upset about?
But the problem is that some retailers won't ship to the United States, so you have to find the one that will ship to the United States.
We all got a guy. There's always a guy. Yeah. Well, so look, it's supposed to be released in 2020, the fall of 2020. And $59.99. I guess, you need to know a guy, but I mean, come on.
But it sucks that you can't go into your friendly local gaming shop.
Well, Target wasn't allowed to sell the Star Trek version of Catan, and they sure as hell were. And that's a big box company just thumbing their nose at people.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I have no fear that America will provide our own version of Talisman somehow, some way.
The day it's released, I'm buying it. I'm ordering it.
We're going to stick it to the House of the Mouse, man. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, Skungy. So when we come back, we're going to wrap up tonight's show with This Week in Geek History. We haven't done it in a while. So when we come back, we'll wrap up the show with that. This is The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Want to join Louisiana's fight against COVID-19? Remote Area Medical, or RAM for short, is a major nonprofit provider of pop-up clinics delivering free, quality dental, vision, and medical care to underserved and uninsured individuals. RAM has an immediate need for volunteers to staff COVID-19 testing sites in Laplace. For more information or to register to volunteer, please visit www.ramusa.org. That's ramusa.org to help us fight the spread of COVID-19 in Laplace.
Hey, you Ninja Turtle fans, this is Raphael. That's right, the OG Raphael. And the only show we listen to here in the sewer while eating our favorite pizza is The Week in Geek on WRNO Radio. Battle Power!
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Now, we haven't done this segment in a long, long time, but we usually always close the show with This Week in Geek History.
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future! Yes! Oh my God!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Da-na-na, da-na-na. Wow. All right, Skungy, what we got topping us off?
All right, so May 17th, 1989. Tenjin holds a reception for retailers, trade reps, and press in New York for the launch of the Tetris game.
Ooh, and that was probably it was pandemonium, I bet. It was like Pac-Man fever, but with blocks.
Yeah, well, this is the Tenjin game that was going to be for the Nintendo. It had been out for computers already, but it was for the Nintendo home system, and where it really just blew up as a worldwide dominant force.
Who knew Tetris would just be such a global phenomenon?
Never would have known.
No, never. It's the OCD in people. All right, what's next?
All right, so May 16th, 1990. A sad day in history. Jim Henson, creator of the Muppets, Fraggle Rock, The Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, and many, many other things, passes away in New York.
Dear God, you suck. Thanks for that.
Bad news, everyone.
I know.
Jesus.
I know I do. But yeah, it was just, I remember being in school hearing that, and I'm not going to lie, I cried when I heard that. It was just such a touching moment.
Did they pull you out of class? It wasn't like the Challenger disaster where everybody's like, hey, let's watch the Challenger go up. Oh, crap, it exploded.
They announced it over the speaker at my school.
My God, what school did you go to? The school of puppeteering or something? Your principal has passed away? I mean, what happened to you?
It was one of those hoity-toity metry schools.
Oh, okay. I get you.
Yeah.
Bad news, everyone.
All right, what's next?
Okay, May 16th, 2002. Course correction started when Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, opened in theaters.
Did you just say course correction?
Yeah, because of the debacle. That was the first one. They tried to do at least something good in the second one.
I guess. I mean, the Attack of the first one was just a glorified trailer. That's really what it was. Phantom Menace was a 2.5 hour long trailer, and it brought us midi-chlorians. So,
yeah.
All right, give me some birthdays. We only got like 40 seconds before we got to get out of here, dude.
All right, so May 17th, 1955, Bill Paxton, who was an alien, Apollo 13, Stripes, Weird Science, and more.
Weird Science. Yes.
Game over, man.
Why'd you put her in charge?
On May 16th, 1986, one of the most useless people in cinema history, Megan Fox, was born.
Hey, don't be talking about my girl like that. Call me Megan. Don't listen to Skungy. He's a jerk. Megan, I love you. All right, anybody else? Anybody else important?
Nobody else important.
All right, good. That's all we needed to know. All right, guys, this has been The Week in Geek. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Till next week, keep your nerd flag raised high.
It's News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM New Orleans, anywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.